Hello my loves, welcome back to the channel. So today is the second video of the Keepers of the Records. I have an amazing message to share with you. If you don't know, if you're like, Lisa, what the heck are the Keepers of, who the heck are the Keepers of the Records? I recommend watching the first video just to save our viewers some time. I'm not going to explain in every video who the Keepers of the Records are, so make sure you watch that one first. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Let's look at which question got the most votes for today's video. So let's see which video got the most, or which question got the most votes. The question that got the most votes is from Hannah K. And she says, my question would be, what would the Keepers of the Records advise on how to decalcify the pineal gland? I freaking love this question. And second question is, what do they say about eating meat and dairy products? How much of an impact does it have on us? Okay, I love these questions. And again, if you have your own question, the way we do this is you comment your question below, and the question that gets the most votes, a like is a vote. So if you see a question in the comments that you like, you can vote it, or you can just type your own question below. Please refrain from asking personal questions. We want to answer questions, for the collective consciousness, for manifestation, law of attraction, creating your best life, consciousness, spirituality, all those good things. Ask them down below. We are very pleased to be here with you today, live on camera. This is the very first time that we are actually being recorded on camera and not just recorded through voice. So it is great to connect with you today. We are pleased at the audience today, and we are looking forward to answering all of your questions. On the question of decalcifying your pineal gland, we first would like to share that there has been a great attack on this small gland that holds so much power. It has been talked about in all the ancient spiritual texts, such as the Bible, ancient yogic traditions, all over the world, no matter what religion, it has been talked about. Jesus said, let thy eye be single. He didn't talk about the physical eyes. He talked about the pineal gland, which was in Egyptian culture also referred to as the eye of Horus. This third eye, or pineal gland as we would like to share, is a master organ responsible for secreting many hormones that help the body with fertility, with functioning, with optimum energy levels. As you may know, it secretes melatonin, but there's much more to it. It is also, on a metaphysical level, your pineal gland is an antenna. So you basically receive information from the pineal gland, and if you would have lived in the ages of planet Earth, where we would like to say was an enlightened age, not an age of darkness, which you are finding yourselves in and just coming out of. And by the way, we are speaking over thousands of years here. We are not speaking in a span of just a few years. This is a very broadened, zoomed out perspective that we would like to add as a disclaimer, because we can sense that some people may get offended when we say that you are living in an age of darkness. So in the ages where beings were more enlightened and there was this higher consciousness on the earth plane, people's pineal glands worked exactly the way they were supposed to function. It's an antenna that connects you to the universe, where you receive information. Information such as thought transmission, information that you can go into the field of knowledge, the quantum field that holds all information, the field of God, and you wouldn't even have to open a book to get information, because you would be connected Your pineal gland is therefore a great receiver. It absorbs information, but it can also absorb calcification. That is why it is prone to becoming calcified, especially with something that some humans that are responsible for how this planet Earth, that are the controllers, as we would like to say, love putting in tap water, and that is fluoride. The pineal gland has a special affinity towards fluoride, where it absorbs fluoride. The pineal gland is made of certain molecules that make fluoride stick to it better. This is the way that we can explain this. So humans operate with a pineal gland that operates at its 10% of what it is capable of. Sometimes you hear that scientists sometimes explain that humans are only using a certain percentage of their brain. Well, a lot of that has to do with the pineal gland. Then again, it is a good thing in this day and age that your pineal gland isn't completely decalcified, because you would not be able to function in this dark world, because you live in a very dense third-dimensional world. And if you were so connected, you would, if you get into the hands of the wrong people, you could be institutionalized. And this has happened to people before, because you would be connected to everything, and you would get a lot of information, and it could even be overwhelming. This is why the mystery schools taught about all these things, because people were taught to know how to manage all of this, to know how the spiritual realms work, to know how to protect their energy, and to not just kind of jump into an ocean full of beautiful fish, but also full of sharks, because as you know, the spiritual realm has many different energies, we would like to say, for lack of a better word. As you know, this information is quite hard to sometimes translate into the English language. Now on to the question, how, this was a long intro, how you can decalcify your pineal gland. What we can say to you is to avoid fluoride at all costs, which is of course hard to do in your society, but do your research on fluoride. Try to look into the water that you are drinking. Have it be as pure as possible. We will not give brand names, we will not give instructions, because it is up to each individual to find this information out for themselves. Everybody functions differently, so what works for one person may not work for another. We would mention blue lotus tea and tamarind paste, which our channel has talked about before. Moving away from electromagnetic fields such as Wi-Fi, and going into remote places in nature where there is almost no cell reception, because there will be no interferences for your pineal gland to connect. Another thing that we wish to share is to mechanically, quote unquote, activate the piezoelectric crystals, to activate those in the brain. So there are specific techniques of meditation which we'll refer to as squeezing your pineal gland, which activates the cerebrospinal fluid in your body, and also activates your pineal gland. And this gets some of the calcification removed just through mechanical pressure, and also gets the crystals. Yes, you have crystals in your pineal gland in your brain. It activates those crystals, and from there profound spiritual experiences can be had. You do not need any drugs, you do not need any outside substance. All you need to do is meditate. Yet humans have such busy lives these days that it is very hard to take the time needed to activate your pineal gland. Look into iodine as well. Large doses of iodine help your body flush out fluoride. Make sure you always consult with your doctor. As we mentioned before, every body's need is different. If you have an overactive thyroid, we would not recommend getting too much iodine. Your nutrition, eat as clean as possible. And just the intention of communicating with your third eye, locking out all outside physical senses and really meditating on your third eye and setting the intention and using the laws of manifestation to manifest having a decalcified pineal gland. That is sort of the cheat code that we would like to add, because it's going to be happening differently for each person listening. So as a final thought, we would like to say to manifest having a decalcified pineal gland. On the second question, which concerns meat and dairy, in days where humans would hunt to put food on the table, this has been a very different concept than what happens to meat these days. Meat is filled with antibiotics. The animals get fed antibiotics. They live in conditions that are often horrendous, and they are killed in terrible ways. We wish not to give too many examples because it is quite overwhelming for our channel to see these images. So we will not go into detail, but you all know what is happening to the animals. There's almost no person in the Western world, that in a developed country, that does not know what happens to meat before it gets put into your body. And that is very different than taking an animal's life with dignity, with a one-shot kill, we would like to say. And also, back in those days, some of the civilization really honored the cycle of life and animals hunting their prey. And the animal, in that sense, has the soul of the animal, has, in that sense, sort of like a contract with the human being, and is actually not reticent to giving up its life in order to keep people alive and to feed them. It was all done with the utmost respect for nature, respect for animals. It wasn't done with any torture or harm. It was done, back in those days, you would hunt to survive, to put food on the table. And that was very different from what is happening these days. So because of that, the vibration of the meat that people were eating was extremely different. And also the meat was not processed in the ways that it is today. So meat thousands and thousands of years ago doesn't equal meat today. That is why these days there are so many illnesses associated with meat. It is not per se that the meat is bad. It is the conditions in which the meat has been processed, the conditions in which the animal was killed. When the moment an animal is killed, it's like taking a snapshot, and the vibration of that animal gets frozen into the meat. And so when you eat that meat, you also eat that vibration of extreme fear and terror. Now, you are not conscious that you are doing that, obviously, but it does lower your vibration. That's why they say that going vegan completely elevates your vibration, and for a lot of people clears up a lot of health symptoms. This is completely from a vibrational point of view. Now, we would not like to tell you to go vegan or to not eat any meat anymore, because everybody here has free will, and we trust that everybody knows what is best for themselves. We are not pro-meat, we are not pro-veganism, we are just sharing the broad perspective, because we can tell that some people may get upset about their beliefs. People are very attached on this earthly plane to their beliefs. So this is our perspective. The same is with the dairy, because you are consuming essentially a product that results from animals that weren't grown up in the best conditions. And however, if they do, if you, for example, live on a farm and you do your own food sourcing, we would like to say that you can, it's not gonna do you any harm, but as an animal, from an animal perspective, you are not meant to eat, to drink, to consume another animal's milk. Now, your body can adapt to anything. Your bodies are extremely strong and resilient. So you're not gonna die if you're going to eat dairy, but it is not the best option, is what we would like to say. And that is why some people also develop allergies against and intolerances against dairy. This would be our perspective on eating meat. If you want to continue to eat meat, we suggest getting the cleanest meat possible that was killed in the most dignifying way. And this, we understand that this is hard to verify in your civilization, but that is what we would say. If you can go meatless, if you want to consider the option, try it and see how your body reacts. See if you feel better, see if your vibration raises, see if you feel lighter in your body, if you have better mood. If it doesn't help you, then stop. We're not here to share a dogmatic way of living. Every person is responsible for their own being, for their own sanity, and this is going exactly against what religion has taught for hundreds and thousands of years. We want you to take your freedom back and to take your sovereignty back, because you are a sovereign being connected to God. And if your pineal gland is decalcified, or at least somewhat decalcified, you will be actually able to make choices based on what is best for you, because you will know. You will have the answers to everything. And this is what we wish for you, to get to that level where you will not have to ask for exterior validation anymore, because you may get confirmation, but you don't need to ask to get answers, because you have the answers within. The kingdom of God is truly within. So going within is the answer, and the two questions actually tied in perfectly for this transmission. This is all we have to say for today. Thank you to our listeners. We are the keepers of the records.